Dave McIntyre, wine columnist with the Washington Post, and I'm here with Todd Thrasher, General Manager and Sommelier of Restaurant Eve and associated restaurants with Restaurant Eve in Alexandria, Virginia. And we've just tasted through a bunch of Loudoun County wines, about 28 wines, and we've picked out our favorites, and we're going to talk about them now. So first we'll start with our whites, and we had a few that we were impressed with. I think our favorite was probably the Chrysalis Albarino. Albarino is, of course, a grape from northern Spain, and it's great with seafood and everything, and it's not grown very much here in the United States, and Chrysalis is making a very good example.
She did a fabulous job of making Chrysalis Albarino. I think it's a really true representation of what Albarino should taste like. It's crisp, it's racy, has a bit of tropical fruits to it, and I think it would go, we're kind of landlocked right here, but I think she made wine that goes really well with seafood, especially shellfish.
I agree, and she, of course, is Jenny McLeod, the owner of Chrysalis Vineyards. This is one of my favorite white wines from Virginia.
I agree.
Year in and year out.
Yeah.
She's only been making it for a few years, but she's doing a great job.
And believe it or not, out of all the wines we tasted today, this was the only Virginia wine that we tasted through that I already had on my list too. So it's definitely a winner.
But not to presage too much. There
Right.
might be something here that might show up on the list a little bit later, which will be good. So the Albarino is great from Chrysalis, and we also had two other white wines that we liked. We enjoyed the Corcoran Viognier. We had a few Viogniers today that did not exactly fit our preconceptions of what a Virginia Viognier should be, but the Corcoran impressed us with its tropical fruit flavors and its passion fruit and other qualities. So Todd, what do you think of that?
Yeah, one of the things that I'm finding is I'm probably judging wine against French wines too much. When we're talking about Viognier, I really expect a little bit more oiliness, a little bigger style of wine, but these are very clean wines with lots of acidity, not necessarily your typical Viognier, which for Virginia, but Virginia's making Virginia Viognier, so.
And we flipped, actually, I think, for the Loudoun Valley Vineyards Treminette. Treminette is a cross of Gewürztraminer and some other grape that none of us have ever heard of. Or can pronounce. So, and I think Todd, for Todd, this was actually a fairly new wine. So, what did you think of this one?
I've probably tasted 2 or 3 Treminets in my life. And this one, I'm a massive fan of Alsatian style wines to begin with. I think they're probably some of the most food-friendly wines out there. And this wine, for me, it has spice. It had a little bit of sweetness, which could turn some people off, but for me, it's phenomenal. And it's a really food-friendly wine. I think drinking it by itself, for me, may not be the best thing, but I think if you put it with a big piece of pork belly, which would be delicious, I think.
And I like to hear you say that, because for me, Treminette has sort of that flowery Gewürztraminer character that I associate with cheese or dessert. And to hear you pair it with a savory dish such as pork belly, it's my mouth watering. I really want to try it. Okay, so moving on to the reds, and we don't have these in any particular order here right now of those that we like. But I think
I can talk about my favorite.
What's your favorite?
I definitely think the topiary from Boxwood is my favorite.
Okay.
I think so.
So let's go to Boxwood, and we need to have a disclaimer here. We are at Boxwood Winery.
I've never tasted their wines before today.
And I don't know if I had, because they might have been in competition, or I might have tasted them somewhere else. But I don't think I had tasted these. So we had 2 wines from Boxwood Winery, and we were very impressed with the quality of the winemaking and the quality of the wines. These are very stylish wines, reasonably priced, great quality.
Yeah, I mean reasonably priced too. Retail, they said, are $25.
Yes,
About
$25 to $30 probably, give or take.
I think a lot of times when we talk about Virginia wines being a good Virginia wine, I think all the wines we taste today are good wines, not just Virginia wines, but for me, the topiary, especially from Boxwood, and it's Cabernet Franc. I'm not a big Cabernet Franc fan, so it really surprised me how good it was, and approachable and drinkable. And it's drinkable right now, but I definitely think it will be good, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now too.
Yes, just for information, the topiary is a Cabernet Franc Merlot-based blend. The Boxwood is Cabernet Sauvignon Merlot and Petit Verdot. So they're trying to go for a right bank Bordeaux versus a left bank Bordeaux blend. And I don't know that we would necessarily mistake these for Bordeaux, but we certainly appreciated them as very, very good wines.
I don't know if I'd taste wine, but I'd say they're Virginia either. It doesn't scream Virginia to me.
Well, by screaming Virginia, we almost think that's a negative.
Right.
And that's something that Virginia needs to overcome. And I think the winemaking is overcoming it, but the consumer perception isn't yet overcoming it. But you're absolutely right that it doesn't scream Virginia is a good thing, in that it isn't saying that it's an inferior wine.
Right, exactly.
These are really nice wines.
All of them, I think we tasted today were really nice.
Okay, we need to give some publicities to some others, so I'll move the box to the side.
So what was your favorite wine of the reds?
Well, aside from the Boxwood, I particularly liked the Sunset Hills vineyard wines. We have the Reserve Cabernet Franc and their Cabernet Sauvignon from 2007, which was a great, warm, hot vintage in Virginia. What I like about these wines is very stylish winemaking. They also each won Best of Category in the recent Atlantic Seaboard Wine Competition, which I was a judge at, and I was very impressed by the wines there. So I was pleased that they showed very well here today. I think this is very stylish winemaking from a winery that is fairly new in Loudoun County, and they're doing something right.
I was, again, not a Cabernet Franc fan. Completely impressed with the Cabernet Franc they had. Completely impressed. It didn't, a lot of times you get the green bell pepper to it. And these had spice, which is good with Cabernet Franc, but not the green bell pepper.
Exactly. And, okay, some others that we were impressed with. I'll move these aside too, so we can show some of the others. We had, among the reds, we had 3 others that we liked. We had a Tres Sorel from Fabioli Cellars that was kind of unusual in a good sense.
Yes.
Light, fruity. I don't want to say Italian because Fabioli suggests Italian, the name suggests Italian, and they don't tell us on the label what the grapes are. So we're not exactly sure what this wine is made of. But it had a brightness and an attractive fruitiness to it that didn't say sophistication, but it said fun.
Yeah, it said fun and easy drinking, quaffable, sitting on the patio.
Right.
But it really approachable wine. I think it was very approachable for people right now.
Very nice. And the Terrara Meritage, I think, had some very stylish winemaking to it. We noticed the Stelvin screw cap, which means that the winery is investing in at least some technology to take care of their wines.
Not so romantic, but probably in the long run, better for wines.
That could be. That's still a matter of debate, but it's unusual for Virginia to have a screw cap wine at this point, because that is an investment. That's a lot of money from your bottom line. But the wine is very good too.
I agree. I mean, you said it's stylish and it's approachable wine, and I think it's a great wine for Virginia.
And the Bro Cabernet Sauvignon Vintners Reserve impressed us not because of anything classically Bordeaux or Napa perhaps, but it, again, like the Fabioli, it was very fun. It was delicious and fruit-forward and stylishly made. There is some good winemaking here at Bro.
I really thought it was a beautiful, soft, supple wine. It was sexy, I thought, and I think it will go well with a lot of food, which is, for me, really important.
There you go. So this is Loudoun County, Virginia, DC's wine country, with some of their best wines. And I'm Dave McIntyre with Todd Thrasher of the Restaurant Eve Group from Alexandria, Virginia. And we wish you happy drinking.